Welcome back. Today we are going to proceed with logic operators. What we have here is two variables which has data type of bool, which represent Boolean. The first variable, as you can see, it is this one, which has the name is Sunny, and it is equal to true. Yeah, the Boolean is true. We also have this variable is warm, which also is false. So here I'm going to tell you and operator, or operator, and not operator. Yeah, they are represented by these special characters. As you can see here, this and this stands for and, these two ampersands, and also these two bars represent or operator, and this exclamation mark represents not operator in that programming language. So this first line is for printing if sunny, if is sunny and warm, it will print true. If both are if both is true, they will print true. If one of the condition is false, it's going to be false, because AND operator or AND logic operator checks for both condition. If they return true, it is true. For the second, it is going to check, it's for OR operator. OR operator checks if one of the condition is true and it returns true. It is going to check is sunny. If is sunny is true, it is going to return true. And also if one of the two conditions, yeah, here we have is sunny and here we have is warm. If one of those two conditions are true, it doesn't matter if all of them are true. It only checks for one condition. As you can proceed here on is sunny, here we have not operator. For not operator, we will only check it's like an opposite. Yeah, it will return the opposite of the current situation. Like if it is false, it will return true. If it is true, it will return false. When you learn this code, now you can see we have false for the first line here, because both conditions are not true. So but because both conditions are not true, and operator only check if both are true, they return true. For the second, we have true, because one of the conditions are true, is true. Yeah, is sunny has true value here, so that's why it is printing true, because one of those is true. And here we have false, because is sunny has a true value, so by default not will return the opposite of the current it will return the opposite of the current situation. If it is true, it will return false. If it is false, it will return true. So think of and like both conditions must be true to go outside without a jacket. Or means if at least one condition is true, we are good to go. So guys, thank you.
So here you have the question to write a program that check if someone is old enough to vote. Age must be greater than or equal to 18. So print true if yes, and print false if not. So go ahead and try this question. You can put the answer in comment so I can check if there is no mistake you made. So see you in next lesson called strings and interpolation. So let's continue with strings and interpolation. Strings are just a text that makes working with string easy, very easy. So here we are going to declare two strings. We're going to use two strings, first name and last name. We can say string first name is equal to, let's say, Remy. And we can say again string last name is equal to Gatson. And when we want to print a string, a value of string in another string, you can say like this, print. You can say hello. So here when we want to print this value of string, we want to print like Remy in this string. So you have to use $sign. You can use $sign and add the variable name. We want the first name, enter the first name and create and put semicolon at the last. And when we try to run the code, you see that we have hello Remy. So you can modify it how you want. You can say hello first name and last name. So again, when we try to run it again, you can see that we have hello Remy and Godson. So this can be applied also on the text, all the calculations. You can say, if you want to calculate something, you can say that print when you want like to calculate the sum and tell someone this is the sum of this, you can say the sum of 5 and let's say and 10 is, and use $sign and put their bracket and say what you want, the sum, the calculation, the operation, and it's equal to 5. I made a mistake. You can say here open braces like this, not bracket, plus 10 and put there a semicolon. And when you try to run it, the code again, you see that we have the sum of 5 and 10 is 15. So this is how we create or we integrate the string.
To proceed, guys, here we have what we call strings function. Those are functions that are used to integrate or manipulate strings in that programming language. For example, if we want to check the length of our text, what you have to do is to print for example, we can print our last name. If you want to check the length of our last name, dot length. So as you can see here, we want to print the length of our first name. So when we run the code, now we have 6 characters in our last name. So if we want to check, no, if we want to turn our last name into uppercase, we will print we will write print semicolon here, last name, then dot to uppercase, to uppercase. Now we're going to turn our last name to uppercase. So we run the code. Now we have Godson in uppercase. We can also change it to lowercase by printing last name dot to lowercase like this. Then we add a semicolon. Then we run our codes. We have a last name in lowercase. We have other function when we want to check substrings in our string, or we want to check some small texts in our string. For example, we want to check if our last name contains the word son. So what we're gonna do, we're going to print last name. I'm going to print last name dot contains. We're going to use contains function, contains. Then we will put here the other string that the other substring that we are checking. For that we have son. We remember to add a semicolon. Then we run our code. So our last name has a substring called son. So guys, this is very crucial functions that are used to manipulate, to work with strings in various programming languages. You can check length, case, and find substrings easily in our programming language. So here you will write your own full names as a string, print in uppercase, in lowercase, then print how many letters it has. So this you will do it, and you tell us how it went in a comment section.
So let's continue with input and output. So far we have only printed data. Now let's learn how to take input from user and output our response. So here we are going to use that colon IO. So here is how we use it. We import dot colon IO for input and output, to be able to use input and output. So when we want to collect data from the user, we first let him know what we want. So we use print to give the user a message, print. So here we can ask him, a user or any person, to enter the name. You can say please enter your name. your name. So when we want to correct that name, we can say string question mark, and we want the name. That name is equal to std din dot readline sync, and we add a semicolon at the end, and we are going to print the name and other text. So we can use a string function by print, let's say we want to greet our user, hello, name. Say the name, because it is the variable that's going to store the name of our user. So when you try to run the code, you see that you have let's make sure it's clear. So when you try to run the code, you see that you have please enter your name. You can say that my name is Remy. So when you type your name, you see that we have hello Remy. So you can use string function to print the value of variable with text. So notice the string question mark with a question mark. That's because the input can be null. So because the input can be null, we use string question mark.
So here is a challenge. You need to create a program that asks a user for age and then print you will be X years old. So you're going to ask a user to input his or her age. Then you are going to calculate how old is he going to be after 5 years. So you print, unless you're a vampire, in which case you will still be having the same age forever. But here, after 5 years, you're going to have 5 more years added to your current age. So as a recap of this module 2, in this module we learned about variables, constants, operators, strings, and output and input. There's our building blocks of every Dart program. We had a great work. Next up in module 3, we'll start controlling follow-up on our programs with if-else statements and loops. In this upcoming module 3, which is control flow. Guys, see you in the next module. Thank you.
Welcome back in module 3 control flow. So far we have learned how to store and print information, but the real programs makes decision. That's where if-else statement comes in. So think of it like this: if it is raining, take an umbrella, else enjoy the sunshine. That's if-else logic. So here I'm going to show you how to use if-else in that. So here I have one variable marks. You can say int marks equal to 75. So when we try to check if a student passed or failed, so we say we want to check when the student is above 50, he's passed. But while he's under 50, he failed. So here we type if marks is greater than or equal to 50, print, it got say a message, you passed. But when he's under 50, we say else, print you failed. So when you try to run the code, you see that we passed, but when we change the marks up to under 50, like 40, you see that now you failed. So you can also use the input to make the user enter his marks. You can say that you can first import that current IO, and comes here. We are going to ask the user to enter his marks. Print, please enter your marks. So here we are going to accept the marks. Can use int marks is equal to int dot pass. So when you are going to correct the numbers, we first use int dot pass and type sd dot readline sync, and we put this mark at the last and end with semicolon. So when we try to run the code, let's screen the terminal and run again our terminal. So when you try to run the code, they will ask you to enter your marks. When we try to put like again 70, you see that you passed. But when you try to enter like 10, you failed. So this is how we use if else in that programming language. So let us check multiple conditions. You can check multiple conditions, and if the condition is true, that run the first block. Otherwise it run the else block. In the condition, you can use operator like greater than, less than, equal to, or even combine multiple with and or get. So that's logical operators. So let's continue with else if chain. So here we're going to use our else if for multiple conditions. So we can say that here we can start with if a student score more than 90, we print grade A. So we can say here 90. and we can print here grade A. And else if, and here we said else if, and put other condition, put our condition in bracket. If marks, let's say our student is more than 70, greater than or equal to 75, our marks must be greater than or equal to 75. Print grade B. Print grade B. Grade B. And we can continue with else if, put there the condition if marks is greater than or equal to 60, print grade C. Grade C. Print grade C. Remember to put semicolon. And also else if marks is greater than or equal to 50, print grade D. Remember the semicolon. Remember semicolon. And else print when the student is under 50, you must say he failed. Print failed. So here when we try to run our code, let's clear our terminal and try to run it. And let me zoom out a little bit. So when you try to run our code, please enter a mark. When we enter like 70, you see that we have our grade C because we belong in grade C. So when we try to enter like 20, see that we failed. But when we try to enter like 100, you see that we are in grade A. So that's how we use if else in multiple cases. So in next lesson we'll continue with switch statement, but here is what you can do to check if you get it. So modify this to create a grading system for your own country or school so that you can understand more in that course and in this control structure if else. So go ahead and try this exercise and try to understand it more.
Welcome back to our lesson, our switch statement. Sometimes when checking a lot of special or specific values, a switch statement is greater than a bunch of if else. what what you need to know about switch statement is that it is used, in most cases it is used like if else, but it also can make it more clear when you have specific values. So we have this variable string, day equal to, let's take for example Monday, semicolon. Then if you want to switch the day, for our switch we're gonna use switch. Then we need to have this day, open curly brace, for the case Monday, here is like explaining, in the case the day is Monday, we'll print start of the week. Start of the week, semicolon, then we break. On the next case, this is why it is called switch case, because we do something for different cases. When we have Friday, add a colon. What we will do, we'll print it's almost weekend. Then we add a semicolon. We also break. For the case, maybe Saturday or Sunday, Saturday. Let us do it like this. We add nothing, then we also make on Sunday. We print weekend vibes. We must remember a semicolon, then a break. We will also add a default this default like works like else in if else statements. We just have this default value saying like just another day. Another day. Then we put here a semicolon. So when we try to run this code, because our day is Monday, we will we will have this message start of the week. When we make it Friday, when we make it Friday, sorry, and we run our codes again, it's almost weekend. What if we make it like Wednesday? And we run our codes. It's just another day. So here is how we use switch case in that. Notice a break keyword. It tells that to stop checking once it finds a match. Without it, that would keep going. Yeah. And also, try making a switch that checks a number from 1 to 12 and print month's name. So you're going to do this and you tell us in comment section. So thank you guys for being with us. See you in the next lesson.
Welcome. In lesson 3, we are going to continue with loops. We have 3 loops in that for while and do while loops are used to repetitive execution for codes. So for loop allows you to iterate over a sequence like a list or a range of numbers and execute a block of codes for each item. So here I'm going to show you how to use for loop. So to use for loop, you have to type for open bracket for I and state a variable for int. So you state the data type of that variable for int I equal 1 because it is number. Put there semicolon up to I less than or equal to 5. We're going to print 5 number from 1 up to 5. So semicolon and put there I plus plus. So you have to remember that that is case sensitive. You have to use the same. If you type capital I, you have to continue typing capital I. If it is small, you have to continue typing small. Put there a semicolon, open bracket. So here we're going to print our numbers. Print number. Can use $, $sign I, semicolon. So here when you try to run the code, you see that here we have number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. So here you can also change where you want to end your number. You can put here like 10. So when you try to run it, you see that you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So for loop allows you to print multiple numbers without printing every number, like print number one, print number two. So for loop allows you to loop from any number to any given number. So
Hello guys, now we are proceeding on while loop. As we've seen on for loop, it iterates in a range of numbers, like we have from 1 to 5, have from 1 to 10. Also, we can even have from 10 to 1, but we have a starting point and where our loop would end. That's when we use for loop. And if we want to use while loop, it comes and iterates anytime the condition, a certain condition is true. If you have a true condition that we have set, the iteration will continue. While false, it will stop. So the syntax goes like this. We type, for example, we want to set a counter. For example, we have int count equals to 1, semicolon. We can use while, open bracket, then count. We set our condition to be, here I wrote count. We set our condition here, maybe to be less than or equal to 10. Yeah, that's the condition. Count must be less than or equal to 10. Open curly braces. We print count. Then we can add the value of our counted number by using this dollar sign. Then we put our variable count. So we also need to add the way it is going to count. It is going to use incrementing. It's going to be incrementing, so we say count plus plus, then a semicolon. We try to run this code. So now you can see it starts from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 until to 9, because here we have less than 10. If you want to make it 10, you can put it here equal sign to make it 10. So run this code again. So now it is 10 from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these codes, this is a variable with a data type of integer, which sets our counter, the starting point. This is a condition. While this condition is true, it is going to implement this. It is going to print count. So this is the count. We are making an increment. So thank you.
So let's continue with the while loop. Is similar to the while loop, but it executes its block of code at least once before checking the condition. So here I'm going to show you how to use the while. So I have a variable called number, int number equal to 0. So when you want to use do while, you first type do, open curly braces, and as I said, we have to start with print. You print number, use dollar sign, number, add a semicolon. So here we're going to add increment number plus add a semicolon. So here you add while number is less than or equal to 5, and when you try to run the code, you see that we have number from 0 up to 5 because our initial value was 0 and our high value is 5. This is our condition. Any number must be less than or equal to 5. So also you can do decrement. You can add here 5. So negative. So you can change number here. So when number is less than or equal to, let's think about condition. Here I can put less than or equal to 1. So when you try to run the code, you see that here we have num 5. You can ask yourself why, because here it's how the code runs. Here you first have number 5. We have to print number 5 at the first step. We print number 5 at here. So when you do decrement, 5 minus 1 will be equal to 1. So when you try to check the condition, is 5 less than or equal to 1? No. It will give us false. So here when we try to change our condition, number must be greater than or equal to 1. So when you try to run the code again, you see that we have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That means that here we have decremented 1 to 5. We left with 4. 4 is greater than or equal to 5. So it will print num 4. So when we decrement again, we go to 3. 3 is less than or equal to 1. Is greater than or equal to 1. Yes, it will print our 3. When we decrement again, we have 2. 2 is greater than or equal to 1. Yes, it will print 2. So when we decrement again 1, we left with 1. 1 is equal to 1, so it will print 1. So when we decrement it again, we left with 0. So 0 is not greater than or equal to 0. So it will stop to print our number. So that's how do while loop works. So this loop can be used in various scenarios, such as iterating over correction, repeating tasks, or implementing game logic. So that's the loops. Here I have a question. You can write a for loop that prints a number from 10 down to 1, or make it fun, print liftoff at the end like a rocket countdown.
Welcome back in lesson 4, break and continue. Sometimes we need to stop a loop, array, or skip an iteration. That's where break and continue comes in. So we may have an iteration working like for. What am I writing? For int I equals to 1. Initialization point is 1. I less than or equals to 10. Equals to 10. Then I plus plus. I plus plus. We are making an iteration which counts from 1 to 10. Then we need to, but if we want to have a break in the middle of an iteration, so we can say if we use if condition, if I is equal to 5, open curly braces, then we break. Remember to add a semicolon. Then after that if we will print I. With a semicolon. So by this, when you try to run the code, so we were to iterate from 1 to 10. Now when we reaches to 4, when the program reaches to 4, it stops there, because we said if I is equal to 5, so it will counting I equals to 1, it starts from 1, I less than equal to 10, it will have to end to 10, then we will count. For the first iteration, it will count 1, then print it, then 2, 3, 4, but when it reaches to 5, it will stop. Yeah.
So let's continue with continue. So I'm going to show you how the continue works. So continue, it skips the number you stated, like when you try to print from 1 up to 10 and use continue here, instead of using break, you can type continue. So when you try to run the code again, you see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, but there is no 5 because continue, it skips that number stated. You see that here in the code we said if I is to 5, continue. That means if I is 5, it will skip that number. So here I have a question for you to try it. You can write a loop that prints number from 1 up to 20 but skips multiple of 3. So go ahead and try to do this question. You can type how it goes in comment.
Okay, and now we have a recap on module 3. It's a nice work. In this video, we learned how to control the flow of the program using if-else, switch, loops, and this break and continue. And now you can make your code smarter, making decisions and repeating tasks automatically. So in the next module, we will explore functions which let us organize and reuse codes like building blocks. See you there.
See you there.